Welcome to this yoga session brought to you by Cycling UK, the Women's Festival of Cycling 2020. Okay, so my name's Alice McNeil and I'm a physiotherapist and a yoga teacher based in the Peak District. So the aim of the session today is to create a bit of energy. You may be feeling a little bit tired from extra cycling we've been doing through this period. It's really just to bring a bit of balance into the body. So we're going to be working on stretching and strengthening through the front of the body, and also strengthening some kind of key muscles that help to support you in your cycling, but really just have a nice time, really working into all of the body, and helping to achieve this sense of levity, which can really be helpful in cycling, particularly if we're getting a bit tired towards the end of the ride, slumping a little bit. Really having these cues to increase this levity and spaciousness we have on the bike is really useful. Okay, so during the session, we're online, so I can't see you. So you really need to listen to your own body. You need to tune in, make sure the things that I'm asking you to do feel all right through your body. Okay, so we don't want any pain. It's definitely not a case of no pain, no gain. We just need to really listen. If something doesn't feel quite right, then listen to your body. Don't do it. Don't feel like you have to do it. Equally, if something feels really nice and you want to take a little rest in that posture, go for it. It's your practice. Any pre-existing health conditions, it might be worth having a check-in with your health professional before embarking on yoga if you are new to yoga, but using your own discretion there. And the class, it's fine. If you've never done yoga, if you're a seasoned practitioner, let's just work together, moving into the body. So we'll be doing a little bit of breath work, a little bit of movement and a little bit of guided relaxation at the end. Okay, so let's make a start. So coming to a comfortable seat. So you might be cross-legged, you may be kneeling, you may just be kind of sat with your legs out in front. Our aim is to get a really nice straight spine. So perhaps imagining we've got a hook on the top of our head, pulling us tall, that chin's gently tucked in, so we've got a nice long back of the neck. And as we sit here, let's just circle those shoulders, just working into that shoulder girdle, maybe wiggling through the spine. Imagining those seating bones, those bony bones at the bottom, go pushing into the ground, and that's allowing the spine to be long, not forcing anything too much. So with eyes open or closed, let's bring attention to the breath. So at this point, we're not trying to change anything, but we're just watching. So noticing as the breath rolls in and the breath rolls out. Noticing where you feel the breath. So you may feel it in the nostrils, in the mouth, in the throat, the chest, the belly. And again, not changing anything, but just observing. And then if we can, allowing ourselves to breathe in and out through the nose. Perhaps allowing the tongue to rest gently on the roof of the mouth. And gently noticing as the breath moves into the torso, perhaps seeing if we can allow the belly to fill as we breathe in, maybe placing your hands on the belly. So as we breathe in, the belly billows out. As we breathe in, that navel moves towards the spine. And not trying to force anything, but just seeing if we can allow that exhalation to be a little longer than the inhalation. And just going in your own rhythm, filling the belly with air, breathing it away again. And if the mind wanders, that's totally normal. Just allow that focus to come back to the breath. And as we get into this breathing, just being aware of your body, noticing where any tension might be. You may find that clenching your jaw or clenching muscles, just being aware of those, allowing them to let go. Moving the jaw, releasing off. Releasing that hand down. So this time, let's breathe in, full breath in. And as we breathe out, breathing out with a sigh through the mouth. Let's do that 2 more times in your own rhythm. Big breath in. And last one, really big breath out this time. And as nobody's watching, let's allow a small smile to come onto the face. Really allowing the face muscles to stretch out. Really easy as you like. And then release down, let the eyes blink open if they have been closed. So grinning actually helps the jaw muscles to relax. It helps to release tension through the neck. Okay, so I'd like us to focus on what we call in yoga the mula bandha. So this is what we call an energy lock. But for our purposes, it's using the essentially the pelvic floor muscles to help lift through the body, to help draw into that midline, to help give us some levity when we're sat on a bike. Okay, so if we imagine the area between our genitals and our bottom, and imagine as we breathe in that area is kind of tightening, lifting. If you've had babies and you've done your pelvic floor exercises, same thing really. So as we breathe in, we're imagining that we're lifting up, we're squeezing that area and we're drawing it up into the centre of the body. And then releasing it down. And then as you breathe in, you're lifting up. And let's go with that. So lifting up is if we're lifting that pelvic floor upwards. And keep lifting, imagining that you've got a line through the centre of your body and you're lifting up, lifting up, lifting up through the whole of the body, all the way up to the top of the head. So this is going to feel really weird and it's quite hard to actually do it with breath to start with. So let's have a go anyway. So breathing in as we lift, we're moving all the way up, maybe growing taller as we lift. And then we need to also learn to let go, so letting go from the top, releasing down, and then finally allowing the very base of your body just to relax down. Okay, so this is a really nice exercise just to practice when you're on the bike, so we're not really slumping down into our seating bones on the bike. Okay, we can activate this throughout the class as well. Okay, so let's get moving. Right, so let's move to our cat-cow. So we're on all fours, hands below shoulders or a little bit further ahead, knees below hips. Let's draw the navel towards the spine, maybe activate that mula bandha at the same time, that pelvic lift. And then let's tip the tailbone towards the ceiling, drop the belly, lifting up through the head and chest. Take a big breath in here, really fill up the lungs, fill up the belly. And as we breathe out, tilt the pelvis down, lifting up the spine in the centre and dropping down the head. Breathing out. Breathing in, that tailbone lifts up, belly drops, chest and head. And then let's continue in your own breath, not worrying too much whether you're breathing in or out, just breathing is great. Okay, so we're really waving through the spine. This is just so nice to relax down those paraspinal muscles up each side of the spine here. If your knees are a little bit tender, feel free, and perhaps it's advisable to do it anyway. Fold up the mat so there's little extra cushioning, or indeed have a towel or a cushion underneath the knees. Okay, and then let's come back to our central position. Draw the navel towards the spine, breathing in and breathe out. As we breathe in, let's stretch away the left hand. If that feels okay balance-wise, then we can stretch away the opposite leg, pointing with the toes. Imagine someone's pulling that hand, someone's pulling that foot, and a bit of wobbling here is ideal. So really stretching out. Keep drawing the navel towards the spine, keep lifting up that kind of pelvic floor area. Keep smiling, keep that jaw relaxed. And if you feel all right here, breathing in as we stretch a bit further, breathing out, bringing the elbow towards the knee underneath the body. Breathing in and out. Last one. Great. Bringing hands and feet back down. Let's go to the other side. So first just lifting that right arm, stretching away, checking that feels all right in your body, and if you like, you can stretch away the other foot, pointing through that toe, stretching away, hands and feet move away from each other, keep drawing the navel in, breath in, as we breathe out, elbow to knee, breathing in, stretch away, and out, elbow to knee. One more time. Stretching away again. Let's pop the hands and knee back down. Bring the knees quite wide, big toes together, sitting back onto the heels into our child's pose. So perhaps resting the head on the hands. Perhaps the arms are away or down by the body, whichever feels nicest for you. So just listen to your body. Spend a moment here in this child's pose. So in child's pose, if we can, directing the breath as if you're breathing into the back of the body. It's just a really nice stretch through this lower back area. In fact, actually the whole way up the back, it can be a nice gentle stretch. So during the class today, I'd like to invite you to have a sense of curiosity. So the postures we're doing, they may be new to you, they may be second nature. Either way, just fostering this sense that you've never been here before, you've never done these postures before, this sense of curiosity. I feel that being able to foster the sense of curiosity and bringing that to riding bikes just takes away a little bit of the pressure. It doesn't matter if you find it easy or hard, just being curious, just observant, without any judgment on what you observe. Just can be really healthy, especially when we're starting to ride bikes and getting into it, perhaps since we were kids, for example. So we'll be practicing this sense of curiosity through the class as well. Alright, so in our child's pose, feel free to take child's pose at any point in the class as well. Let's move up to forefoot kneeling again, bringing the right hand to the centre of the mat, stretching up the left hand towards the ceiling, and bring it back down towards the ceiling again. Big breath in, and as we breathe out, threading the hands underneath the body. Breathing in, stretching up, and threading underneath the body. And let's go to the other side. So breathing in as we stretch up the right hand, threading underneath the body. In and out. Last one. And out. Okay, this time let's have our hands steady. Keeping our left leg in the same kind of angle, just lift it up to the side. So it's a fire extinguisher posture, although it just reminds me of walking the dog sometimes. So lifting up that leg, coming back down. So breathing in as we lift, trying to get that leg as high as possible. If it doesn't go too high, don't worry. Try not to kind of lean with the hips. The tendency is to kind of do this manoeuvre, keeping the chest level, the hips level, just moving through that leg. Just going in and out, not necessarily with the breath, just working into that hip joint. And then let's go to the other side, just working up and down. You may find that one side feels tighter than the other. Having that sense of curiosity. Why does the body stop? How does it stop? What does it feel like today? Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move the hands slightly forwards, tuck the toes under and press up into a downward facing dog. So in our downward dog, very loose to start with, those knees can be bent. If we can, having the fingers spread wide and perhaps pressing through kind of the first finger and the thumb area, or maybe through the entire outer part of the palm, and allowing that middle of the palm to lift slightly. Just being in that position which feels nicest on your wrists. We're active through the arms and we're lifting up through the seating bones and kind of back as well. We're pedaling along, just really noticing any sensations in the body. And moving back onto the toes, just moving however feels nice here. And coming to stillness. Now we're aiming for those heels to move down towards the mat. If they don't get there, that's not a problem either. I think even after years of yoga, I don't know if mine will ever get there. So keep lifting up. So we're aiming for even weight between the hands and the feet here. And then let's walk our feet to meet our hands at the top of the mat. And then take a moment to dangle here. Let the head hang heavy. And then let's roll all the way up as if we're stacking one vertebra on top of the next. All the way up. And coming to stand, bringing the hands to heart centre. So in our mountain pose here, we're standing tall. Along the toes. In fact, let's lift the toes off the ground. That allows the kind of the triangle here to the heel. Those are the areas we're kind of aiming to press in. Slight bend in the knees. So we're really pushing down, activating through the whole of the legs. We're drawing the navel towards the spine. We're activating a mula bandha. We're standing tall. Shoulders are soft. Hands at heart centre again. So in this sense of growth and levity, be our starting point for the next part of the session. Okay, so let's come to the top of the mat. Let's breathe in as we stretch up, hands high to the sky, stretching fingers away. Breathing out, let's curl all the way down, head to chin, curling down. Breathing in as we look up. Breathing out, let's step back with the left for a change. Foot back, drop the knee, flatten the foot. Squeeze the inner thighs together as we breathe in, stretching up through the fingers. And out, fingers back down. Breathing in, stretching up. And out, back down. And again. Then as we breathe out, bringing the hands to the mat, stepping back into a plank pose. So in this plank, the knees can be up or down. Hands are below the shoulders, we're pressing away through the heels, or kind of into the knees and the toes if we've got the knees down. Navel's drawn towards the spine. And let's bend the elbows, slowly lower, as if we are one plank of wood. Keep the elbows close to the body. Slowly lowering all the way down to the ground, releasing the toes. Bringing the fingertips to the mat, elbows close in, as we lift up the heart to the head. Pressing the pelvis into the mat, squeezing the buttock muscles, pressing the big toes into the mat. Lower back down. Breathing in as we lift a little higher, perhaps pressing through the fingers a little bit more. And back down. And this time pressing the hands underneath the shoulders and floating up again. Back down. And tucking the toes under, pressing up through the hands. We're quick 4-point kneeling before moving into our downward facing dog. In our downward facing dog, let's float up that right foot towards the ceiling, bend the knee, and just let those hips stack one on top of the other. And then let's bring that right foot all the way forward, eventually coming to in between the hands, finding ourselves in a runner's lunge. So in this runner's lunge, dropping the knee is totally an option. Or we can keep the legs straight, pressing away with the heels. Breathing in as we stretch up through the hands. And then out, bringing the hands to the inside of that front foot. Breathing in, lifting up that left hand, watching that hand. And let's just pause here for a moment. So that back knee can be up or down, whatever feels nicer on your body. And we're looking towards that hand. Let's come back down. One hand on either side of the leg as we step back all the way to a downward facing dog. Taking a moment here, let's take 3 big breaths. Perhaps letting the breath out with a sigh. So breathing in, let go. And again. Last one. And then looking forwards, bending the knees. And jumping or stepping to the top of the mat. Let's dangle here for a moment. And then let's roll all the way back up. Bringing the hands to close at heart centre. Taking a moment here, pressing the thumbs into the heart space. Perhaps you can feel your heart beating, perhaps you can feel your breath. Just taking a moment to stand tall. Breathing in as we stretch up. Today I'm going for what we call scaption, with arms at a diagonal like this. This is the optimal position for our shoulder blades, but you can go high above or hands above the head like this. Room restrictions are also a factor in it. Okay, so breathing in and then out, let's fold all the way forwards. Breathing in as we look up, bringing the hands to the shins, flat back. Breathing out, let's step back with the right foot this time. Drop the knee, flatten the foot. Breathing in as we stretch up. And out, back down. Let's do 2 more of those, squeezing those inner thighs together. And last one. Lowering the hands down, stepping back into our plank with knees up or knees down, and let's lower it down. You can go all the way to the ground, or perhaps you'd like to hover. If you're hovering, bringing it onto the tops of the foot and lifting into our upward dog. Or if we're going all the way down, releasing the toes, coming up into cobra. Releasing back down, tucking the toes under, back to 4-point kneeling. And up to downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Sighing through that mouth if that feels nice. Perhaps still walking the dog if that feels better. And then let's float up that left leg, bend the knee, and opening up through the hips there, tapping that toe behind us. And then stepping that foot through all the way forward, so we end up in this high lunge position. But again, that back knee can drop down. So pressing through that heel, breathing in as we stretch up with the hands. Growing tall, lowering back down. So both hands just to show you. Come the inside of the foot, As we breathe in, lifting up through that right hand this time. And let's pause here. Looking up towards that hand and breathing. Just having this sense of curiosity in our bodies. Are we wibbling? Do we feel strong? Do we feel knackered? Just noticing without judgment. One more breath. Bring the hands back down to either side of that foot. Let's step back into a downward dog. Let's bend the knees, look forwards. Big breath in. And then let's step or jump. If we're jumping, perhaps coming halfway. Or maybe we're stepping, walking the feet up to our hands. Whichever. Let's tangle for a moment here. Before coming all the way. Back up. Bringing the hands to close at heart centre. So work with a similar sequence, perhaps just a little bit faster this time. At any point, feel free to rest. So let's breathe in, stretching up, and out, folding forwards. This time, let's have a flat back. Breathing in, looking up, hands to shins. Breathing out, let's step back with that left foot, drop the knee, flatten the foot. Breathing in, stretching up. Breathing out, moving back to plank. Keep breathing out as we lower down and breathing into either cobra or up dog. And out, back to down dog. Breathing in, raise up that right leg. Breathing out, stepping that right leg forwards. Breathing in, raising up through the hands here. Breathing out, both hands come to the inside of that front foot. Let's pause here for a moment. Again, back knee, up or down. We can choose to go down further onto our forearms if that feels nice. Or we can stay on the hands. But we're not here for too long. So let's breathe in as we stretch up both hands again. Out, back down. Stepping back into our downward dog. Looking forwards, bending the knees as we step, walk, jump to the top of the mat. Dangling here for a moment. And let's work our feet towards each other. Bending our knees. And then lifting up through the body to our adapted chair pose. Straighten up, stretch the hands high, and bring the hands together at heart centre. Breathing in as we stretch up. Breathing out, let's fold forward with that flat back. Breathing in, lift up. Breathing out, stepping back with that right foot, drop the knee, flatten the foot. Breathing in, stretch up the hands. And out, back down. Keep breathing out as we move to our plank, lowering down either to the ground, moving to up dog or to cobra. Breathing out to down dog. In that down dog, let's float that left leg up and out, stepping forwards in between the hands. Breathing in, stretching both hands up. Breathing out, hands to the inside of that front foot. Pausing for a moment, back knee is up or down, and we can move onto the forearms if we want, that's accessible, but maybe stopping on the hands here, just stretching through that back leg. And breathing in as we open up, and down as we step back to downward dog, fully exhale here, then the knees looking forward, big breath in, and then hopping, skipping, jumping to bring our feet to the front of the mat. Pausing here, bending the knees, flattening the back as we come up to a chair. Usually the arms are stretched away. This time I want us to keep those hands tight. Have a go at lifting that mula bandha, that pelvic floor. Straighten up, stretching hands above the head, and bringing our hands together at heart centre. Let's take a moment here to grow tall again, pressing those feet into the ground, activating the legs, that hook at the top of our head, bringing us tall again. So let's put our, I'm going to do the same side as you. Let's put our weight to our left leg, and let's wrap the right leg around. Now, the foot might come to the front of the shin, may come a little further round, may even wrap around so those toes can wrap in, bending that standing leg, and stretching our arms wide, and then going in as if we're hugging ourselves, and then hinging those elbows together, bringing the backs of the hands towards each other, and whichever arm is on the top, bringing that hand around the front, bringing the palms to meet each other. Now, the palms may not meet, but having that intention. So we're in our eagle posture. So in our eagle, let's stretch our fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then let's roll down a bit. So we're starting to look over our hands. If our knees don't feel great at this point, we can undo and just do the arms. So in our eagle, it's always imagine that this is our beak. And perhaps we've got the lightness and the levity to be soaring high in the sky, moving from side to side, and then lifting up again. Stretching the fingertips up, lifting the elbows, being really gentle. And releasing those hands off. Releasing the leg off. Let's go to the other side, so this time putting the right foot on the ground, lifting the left, wrapping that left around. You may find that this goes to kind of a different place than the leg, having that standing knee bent. And again, let's give ourselves a hug, and then let's swap the arms so the other arm goes on the top. This time I've got my left on top, elbows hinged together, backs of the hands together. Whichever arm was on the top, this is the hand that goes around the front, bringing the palms towards each other. So again, if we're finding ourselves wobbly, we might want to find a focal point that we can look at to help keep our balance, and then lifting up with our hands, fingertips high, gentle with the shoulders, and then bringing the elbows down towards the belly button, start to curl forwards, glancing over our hands. Now, if this balance is too challenging to look to our hands, looking at our focal point again. Allows us to smile, to release that jaw. Maybe imagining that we're soaring high, those thermals, the wind on our face, the sunshine on our skin. Back up. Let's release those arms, release those legs. And let's bring the feet together, bend the knees, moving into our chair posture again. This time we're squeezing our inner thighs towards each other, drawing our navel towards our spine, lifting up that pelvic floor, and raising up through our hands, either to in front or up with biceps near the ears, stretching through the fingers, energetically pressing through the hands. So put a long stretch between the seating bones and the fingertips. Bringing the hands to heart centre. That's aiming to bring the outer edge of that left arm to the outer edge of the right thigh. So we're leaning forwards, twisting through. So what often happens here is this left knee will creep forwards. We're aiming to keep these two knees balanced as if you were touching against a wall. So really focus on drawing that left knee back. You may want to allow that left hand to come down to the outside of the leg, stretching it with the right hand. And back to chair, twisting to the other side. And again, watch that sneaky right knee. Keeping that sense of elongation through the spine. And if you like, we can stretch that left hand towards the ceiling, the right hand down towards the ground. Coming back. And and to the centre. Stretching up again. Okay, so let's bring our feet wide, probably about the length of one of our legs, more or less. I'm going to turn my right foot out, so the toes are pointing to the short edge of the mat. The back foot is turned about 45 degrees-ish. Everybody's different though. Aiming roughly at the back of the heel, through a line, you'd hit the kind of the mid-arch of that back foot. We're going to bend that front knee. Our hips are facing kind of the long edge of the mat. Let's bring our right forearm to the top of the thigh, hand facing up, and imagining our heart is spiralling up towards the sky. We can bring our hand to our hip. And if we can, sinking a little bit deeper. If we need to, walking the feet further away, coming back, just so we feel like we can really sink into the ground. So taking a breath in here, and out. Breathing in, let's cartwheel our hands backwards to our reverse warrior. And then out, let's bring the hands to a T, palms facing forwards, looking beyond that front middle finger, stretching this hand back. We can sink a little bit deeper if we can. Our warrior two is looking to the horizon. Breathing in as we stretch back to reverse warrior. Breathing out back to that side angle, this time stretching that top hand over the head, keep spiraling the heart upwards, perhaps even lifting that bottom hand upwards as well. Quite intense sometimes this one, so just do what feels right. Just watching this front knee isn't kind of slumping inwards. And then back to that reverse warrior again. And then as we're in that reverse warrior, straightening that front leg. And then let's cartwheel the hands back to that T. And this time sliding forwards with those hands, dropping that front hand towards the thigh, lifting up that top hand. Again, spiraling that heart. So we can choose to look to the ground, look ahead, or look up. Try not to grip with the toes if we can, have an even weight between the front and back feet. Slightly bend that knee as we come up to centre, turning both feet so they're both outwards. Let's bend those knees. So we're aiming for the knee to align over kind of the middle toe-ish. So just watch your foot position. Maybe you need to bring your toes further in, further out. Just see what feels nicest on your knees. Let's sink a little bit deeper in the arms to our cactus arms. So we're in our goddess posture. Apparently we can harness the power of the universe in this posture, so I think that sounds pretty good. Stretching tall. Let's sink one more time into our goddess. Lovely stretch on those inner thighs, particularly if you're clenching on a saddle. You can just help to open out here. Stretching up again. This time let's turn the other way, so our left foot is in front. Our right foot's behind. We're bending that front knee. Hips towards the long edge, we move to our side angle. I'm facing up, we're spiralling that heart upwards, grounding down through the outer edge of the back foot. Really nice, taking the time to adjust so you feel like your legs are the right distance apart, so you can sink down but you feel strong. And then let's move into our reverse warrior. And as we breathe out into our warrior two. And here, looking beyond that front little finger towards the horizon, fingers are stretched away. And breathing back into reverse warrior. And again, out into side angle, extended side angle. So with this arm stretching above the head from the fingertips to the outer edge of the foot, it's one long line. If we like, we can extend that bottom hand as well. Just noticing with this sense of curiosity what happens to the body. Again, cartwheeling back up to that reverse warrior. Straightening that front knee. Bringing the arms to a T. And let's move into our triangle. So sliding that front hand forwards, dropping the hand, lifting that top hand. So we've still got those arms in a T-like formation. And we're still spiraling up towards the sky. Stretching through the arms, grounding down through the outer edge of that back foot, even weight between the feet. Slightly bend that knee as we spiral the arms upwards. And then this time let's walk the toes inwards slightly. So the outer edge of the foot is kind of parallel to the mat. Hands on the hips with a straight back, fold forwards. Still looking forwards at this time, getting this sense of length through the spine. Now you may have a kind of a tabletop flat back, you may be up higher, doesn't matter. Okay, we can stop here. Or if we like, we can kind of let the whole body dangle. If you've had any recent kind of disky issues in your back or anything, perhaps you want to kind of give the dangle a miss, or do it with really kind of bent knees so it's fully supported. So if you're doing the supported version, those knees are bent, perhaps even resting your hands or arms on the knees, head's hanging heavy. Or if you're feeling fine, we're just dangling down, maybe crossing the arms. Let the head be heavy. The jaw, the neck will feel loose. Just letting gravity stretch here. Perhaps we can walk gently to one side. Walk gently to the other. Maybe rock gently from side to side. Just really allowing our body to let go a little. And bring our hands to the ground, walking our feet in, and then coming up onto our tiptoes, sitting onto our heels if that's accessible. If they don't reach, that's absolutely fine too. And bring those knees wide. You may stay kind of touching the ground. You may feel that today you'd like to sit up tall, maybe bring the hands to heart centre. So depending on your day, it may be very wobbly, it may be quite secure. And you might want to just gently move the knees slightly towards the ground, slightly up. You might want to do it first, holding onto the ground, just experimenting, lifting and lowering those knees. Sense of curiosity still. You may want to stretch the arms away into that scaption, that's the V-shaped position with the arms. Stretching wide, opening that heart, that chest. Let's come down to a seated position. Bring the legs out in front of us. And let's take our left leg, cross that foot over the right thigh, sitting up tall. Holding on to that left leg with the right hand. We reach that left hand around. I'm going to just turn around to demonstrate. Just behind on the fingertips. And we can breathe in and grow tall. Breathe out, gently allow ourselves to twist. We're really using the breath here. So as we breathe in, growing tall. As we breathe out, letting go into this twist. We're not trying to force anything. Just letting the breath, letting gravity do the work. Two more breaths. Coming back to centre. Switch to the other side. So this time that right foot's going over the left. We're wrapping that left arm around, stretching behind us. Again, pulling these toes towards you, that straight leg. As we breathe in, we're allowing that spine to be long. As we breathe out, gently looking behind us, allowing that twist in the whole of the spine. Using that breath as we breathe in to lengthen, to breathe out, to let go, to allow the breath to let us twist. So again, we've got two more breaths. centre. Let's bring those legs wide now. Sitting up tall, bringing those toes towards us. Let's take our forearm, our left forearm, and put it towards the left inner knee. So this right leg, you can keep that straight. If you prefer, you can bend that knee. And see which feels nicer. And with this heart, again, we're spiralling that heart upwards, stretching the hand towards the ceiling. And we're kind of doing a side bend here towards your big toes. Keep pulling your big toes towards you. But the most important element is the spiralling of the chest. And just, again, activate that sense of curiosity. Notice how you feel this. Sensations may be subtle, they might be strong, but just breathe in. Noticing it. So this stretch is quite nice for the muscle we call the QL, the quadratus lumborum, which can become quite tight when cycling. It's a stubborn muscle, so just gently helping us to realise that it wants to release. Centre, legs are shape. Let's go to the other side. Again, that right on the inner knee, palm facing up, focusing on this heart spiralling up. And we can bring that top hand over as if we're trying to catch our toe. But that spiralling position is the most important. And again, that other leg can be bent or it can be straight, regardless of what you did on the other side. Again, let's breathe into this. A sense of curiosity. Does it feel slightly more different to the other side? Not analysing that curiosity, but just noting, observing. Coming back to centre. Bring our knees into the chest. Let's wrap our hands around our shins. Bring our nose to our knees and make ourselves as tiny as possible, going to our seat posture. And rocking from side to side. As small as we can. Oh, let's stretch one more time through those toes. This time bring the knees towards the ground. We can use our hands for support behind, or maybe we sit up tall. And we'll be moving back again. Against the hand, maybe lifting up through the pelvis slightly. Forwards. So if I go to the side, again, get stretched through the toes, perhaps through the shins slightly, and then as we move backwards, we'll start to stretch out the front of the body here. Like opening, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other, looking up. If we can, lifting up, squeezing the buttocks, lifting up the pelvis. Coming back down. So let's find ourselves in a side lying position. I'm going to lie on my right side, putting our hands on our head, and then let's catch the bottom foot with our hands. So it could be the trousers that you catch, it could be the foot, the toe, or just bending that bottom leg. And then drawing that heel towards the buttock until we feel a little bit of a stretch on the front of the thigh. So wiggle about a little bit until you find that stretch. You may want to move that knee backwards a little bit. Keep being mindful that you're not just kind of arching your back. So you want your back in a neutral position, core is activated, we're drawing backwards there. And then stretching out that front leg in a straight position. Just pausing here for a moment, really trying to work into that bottom leg, any kind of sensation on the front of the leg. And then releasing that bottom leg, and allowing that top shoulder to roll down towards the ground. Doesn't matter too much where your arms are, but you may want to explore whether the arms stay where they are or whether you lift them up a little bit, just being really careful, really mindful of where that positioning is. Exploring. So this is the cat pulling its tail posture. I really quite like it. Let's come out, let's come back to side lying. Bringing those legs back in, lifting all the way up. And let's switch the legs around. So we're now lying on our other side. So again, resting our head and our hand on our head to start with. Let's catch that bottom foot in our top hand. Again, you can catch your trousers or just have that knee bent. Drawing that heel towards your buttock, moving that hip backwards. Trying not to just allow the lower back to compensate. So maybe you can push your pelvis forwards a little bit. Pull that leg back until you feel some kind of sensation on the front of that thigh. Just noticing this for a moment. Stretching that top leg straight. Release that hand down. And then releasing that bottom hand, bringing this top shoulder down gently, slowly towards the ground. And that arm can be anywhere you like. Be able to explore with positions that feel nice. Just be super gentle here. And if we can, try to let go. Let the legs kind of relax. They may kind of spring into a slightly different position. That's absolutely fine. And let's roll forwards, allowing ourselves to sit up. Again. The microphone back off. Okay, let's lie back down on the mat, draw the knees into the chest, and then allow the feet to come wide on the mat, arms come out to a T, and let the knees roll over to the right hand side. Just another twist designed to twist through a slightly different section of the spine. If we like, that right foot can pop on top of the left knee. If we like, we can look over to the left-hand side. Just pausing here. And bringing the head back to centre, the knees back to centre. Let's go to the other side. Again, that left foot can go on top of the right knee, if we like, and looking over to the right. Big breath in, let it out. Back to centre, knees back to centre. Let's draw the knees into the chest for one last hug. We're making circles here. Okay, and stretch the legs away. Move into Shavasana, our corpse pose, our resting pose. Let the feet come out to the side, palms are facing up, head is relaxed down. If you want a small pillow, that's grand. So we've just got short time here, lying on our backs. We can have our eyes open or closed. And as we lay here, again, just becoming aware of the breath. Yeah, entering your nose or mouth and leaving again. Now becoming aware of parts of the body that are in contact with the ground. Where those areas are, allow warmth to generate. As we breathe in, that warmth spreads through the body, from the bottom of the body up towards the top of the body. The areas where that warmth permeates become soft. Warmth is comforting, is comfortable, is nurturing. So it moves from the ground through the whole of the body until the whole of the body is enveloped soft, warm. The muscles are allowed to let go. Every cell in the body can breathe again. So now, every breath in, imagine we're breathing in to every cell in the body. We're breathing in new energy. Allows them. You might even allow each cell to tingle slightly. Just allowing this breath to reach every part of the body, invigorating every part of the body. And then start to wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes. Taking one extra last breath, a big breath in, and let it out with a sigh. And drawing the knees to our chest. And allow the knees to roll over to the right hand side, keeping our eyes closed if we can. And taking a moment here just to check in with the body. Noticing the breath, the body, the mind. And then in our own time, making our way up to a seated position. Bring our hands together at heart centre. And gently open the eyes. I'd like to thank you all for joining me in practice today. Namaste. So I hope you enjoyed the rest of the Women's Festival of Cycling. And yet there is another yoga class as well. So the two should complement each other quite nicely. One higher energy, one lower energy, and stretching different parts of the body. So I hope I'll see you in there as well. All right, namaste.